What up, everybody? What up, everybody? What up, everybody? Welcome back to the greatest afternoon show in the world. It's AC Reviews the World, and I am your host, AC the Engineer. And we are episode what? 113. Yes, 113. Finally. I don't know why I said finally, but we still gonna keep going. We keep going. Remember, we are here every Monday through Friday, starting between 6 and 7 o'clock. Because this is the show we cannot miss. We cannot miss because there's a lot of things that we got to review together. What Future say? Let's have a sensational show today. Hopefully everybody had a beautiful Wednesday, January 21st, 2026. It is the middle of the week, y'all. The hump day of the week. Hopefully everybody's making it through the work week. I mean, for some people who work on the weekends or all throughout the week, it doesn't really feel like a hump day. For those like me who work just Monday through Friday, that Wednesday, making it through there feels so good. Hopefully everybody had a beautiful day today. It's getting chilly out there. No matter where you are. But hopefully everybody had a good day. But like always, we got 4 topics to go over, 4 topics we need to discuss and review together. Why? Why do you say? Why should we do it? Why? Because we have to review the world together, because the world is a crazy place. The world is a crazy place, and it takes us to look at it and see how we need to move. But you know how I like to do it. Let's jump right into it. The first topic we're going to go to today is a doozy. It is a doozy. Something I wasn't expecting to see, but something, since it happened, we got to review it. We got a mental health counselor who was killed by none other than her former client. It's a tragic situation. Mental health advisors are essential. But that doesn't take away from the fact that they are doing a dangerous job, because some of these people who have mental health problems, we know that the courts like to use mental health problems or mental health issues to get away from the heinous crimes. And just another heinous crime. It's a very awful situation. But we got a few videos to look at. And then, of course, we're going to look at the AI breakdown just to see if we missed anything. But without further ado, let's jump into it and see what we can figure out from this situation. It's a tragic situation no matter how you look at it.
Some new details now on that deadly stabbing we brought you as breaking news.
Hold on. Let's see. Hold on for a second. Where am I at? Hold on. Oh, let's get into it. Sorry about that, y'all. Let's jump into it.
Details now on that deadly stabbing we brought you as breaking news last night at 10. We have now learned that the victim is a therapist who was stabbed to death by her former client.
Deputies say she was meeting with another client when the suspect stabbed him as well. Now that other person is in critical condition. The suspect was found dead this morning. The stabbing happened right around 9 o'clock last night in the 900 block of Lee Road. That's about a mile west of
Hold on. Did they say the suspect was found dead this morning?
In Fairview Shores. Fox 35's Matt Trezza joins us live. So, Matt, you spoke to her neighbors who say they knew her.
Yeah, that's right. This is the building where Rebecca White worked, and I spoke with neighbors and friends of Rebecca White. They said that she was someone who was dedicated to her work and her community.
She's such a beautiful, caring woman.
Neighbor Nancy Magenheimer reacting to the news of Rebecca White's murder. She says White and her husband lived across the street for several years.
I just can't believe this. I mean, this is a shock because she was so young. And I know she's working with troubled people.
Shirlette McCullough worked with White before White left to start her own therapy practice. She says White specialized in working difficult cases.
When she was here with me, she saw individuals, couples, and she also saw offenders. And it was a niche that she specialized in. And just recently, today, I got a few phone calls around people saying how good she was working with offenders around change.
McCullough says White was committed to her craft and her clients.
My heart just dropped and I just started to cry because she was a very kind person. She was a really, really good person and an excellent therapist.
All it takes is that one person who does not want to change. They're going through therapy. They're something too traumatic in their lives, and they take it out on the therapist. It's a tragic situation, but let's keep going.
Now, I recently, in the last half hour or so, got a statement from White's family. It reads in part, quote, "We are struggling to understand how this could have happened. There are serious and troubling questions surrounding building access, security measures, surveillance, and how an individual is able to enter the premises during those hours. This tragedy raises concerns about systemic failures that may have contributed to a situation that should never have occurred and, in our view, could have been prevented. Right now, our family is grieving an irreplaceable loss. We are heartbroken, angry, and searching for answers, but above all, we are mourning Rebecca."
No matter, yes, it's a terrible loss, and of course, the family's going to have a lot of questions. We have questions as well. They say it was a former client. I would like to know what kind of offense he did in the past. Is he like a murderer? What exactly was he in mental health therapy for? But we won't never find that out, or we might not. Let's go on to this next video and see what else we can learn.
You can still see caution tape up around this building. I'm News 6's Tylisa Hampton. This is where Orange County Sheriff's Office says a licensed mental health counselor and another man were stabbed in an attack by her former client. We have talked to multiple people. They say they can't believe something like this happened. For some, it's an unimaginable loss.
Emotionally, I think that's a hole that's never going to be filled.
I can see your eyes getting watery right now. Can you tell me, what are you thinking? What are you feeling?
I'm trying to think about what to do for the rest of the day.
Monday night, a swarm of patrol cars flooded Lee Road near Addison Street with caution tape around this building. Those living around the corner still shaken.
It's horrific.
Orange County Sheriff's Office says 44-year-old Rebecca White, a licensed mental health counselor, died after being stabbed multiple times at her office when she was confronted by her former client, Michael Smith. The second victim, a man in his 30s, is in critical condition. He told police he had just finished with his therapy session and was stabbed trying to call 911. Hours after the stabbing the next morning, authorities say deputies found Smith's body about 30 minutes away from the scene on Windy Ridge Road, believing he died by suicide.
Nothing but a tragic story in many, many different ways.
For Patrick Floto, he left work to drive here, where he says Rebecca had been his therapist for 3 years.
Just had to make sure it's not true, but it is.
Patrick says he had just spoke to Rebecca about scheduling a session for this afternoon. What will you miss about Rebecca?
And she will actually make your goals. She'll clarify your goals, and she'll hold you to the boundaries that you set for yourself.
He says Rebecca was someone who brought out the best in everyone.
I think the world is a worse place without Rebecca in it.
Patrick says Rebecca is irreplaceable, and again, she will be dearly missed. We're still working to find out more details in this investigation, and once we do, we'll make sure to update you. Reporting for News.
This is a crazy situation no matter how you look at it. So she was just finishing up a session with a client when a former client comes out of nowhere, kills her, and stabs the client she was with while he or she was trying to make a 911 call. Some people, we gotta admit it, that some people are too far gone. Some people are too far gone, and then the next day they find him commit suicide because he's done this. Some people love to take the easy way out instead of taking the punishment. But I mean, some people will say it's the true definition of a mental health crisis. But let's go over into one more video and see if we learn anything differently.
New tonight at 10 o'clock, we are now learning more about the mental health counselor who was stabbed to death just last night. The Orange County Sheriff's Office now says Rebecca White was stabbed to death by a former patient. It happened inside her office at 933 Lee Road. Detectives say Michael Smith interrupted White while she was seeing another client, and that as the current patient tried calling 911, Smith pulled out a knife and then stabbed both of them. Rebecca died at the hospital. The sheriff's office says Smith's body was found hours later, and they believe he killed himself. A former co-worker of hers spoke about the type of person and therapist Rebecca was.
Now, I'm wondering if, because just thinking about the situation, if a former client who's clearly going through something, which he obviously was, he came, maybe this is just maybe trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, which I don't know if I even should, but he came in trying to confront the mental health counselor. The other client immediately tried to call 911. He got flustered and immediately tried to kill them all. Or he could just be a terrible person. We won't know. We'll see if the AI breakdown gives us a little bit more, but let's finish up this video.
She worked with offenders. So she had special trainings that she did. She had a passion for it. That was just something she felt. She believed in their rehabilitation. I am grieving this loss. Right now, it is heartbreaking to know that this happened to Rebecca, and to know that her husband and family, they're just going through this loss right now.
Psychotherapist Shirlette McCullough there worked with Rebecca White before she opened her own practice. She shared with us what she remembers about Rebecca and what she loved to do.
She was a very kind person. She was an excellent therapist. She was very passionate about the work that she was doing. She really believed in the rehabilitation of the people that she served. And what I remember about her, she used to love to go to the beach, be with her fur babies, and be with her husband.
Now, Shirlette there also said this tragic attack may bring change to how therapists secure their offices moving forward.
They definitely need some kind of more protection, especially if they're dealing with criminals or offenders, how they called it. But let's get over into this AI breakdown and see if they tell us any more details that just might help us understand the situation a little bit better. So on January 19th, Rebecca White, 44, was fatally stabbed in her private practice in Orlando, Florida. So approximately 9 o'clock, the former client, Michael Smith, entered the office. Smith demanded to be seen, and after being told to leave, attacked both White and her current patient with a knife. So I don't know if he was planning to kill her from the beginning or if he was just going through a mental health crisis. It's a crazy situation no matter how you look at it. Let's see. So the man in his 30s who was attempting to protect White, he was stabbed more than 10 times and remains in critical but stable condition after undergoing surgery. So the suspect, Michael Smith, was a registered sex offender who had previously served a 19-year prison sentence for kidnapping and sexual battery. Following the attack, deputies found his body on January 20th. He died of apparent suicide. So he was a registered sex offender who did 19 years in prison for kidnapping and sexual battery. I don't mean to be harsh, but do I think some people can be rehabilitated? Yes, I do think some people can be rehabilitated. But I think some people might be too far gone. Is it bad to say that? I don't think so. Some people commit such heinous crimes that I don't think you can... Society-wise, I don't think you can come back from it. Yes, you can maybe try to turn your life around and admit what you did wrong, but from being out in the public, I don't think you can change people's... I don't think you can... There's some things you just can't come back from, at least in the public eye. You kidnap and sexually batter a woman, I don't know if you can come back. There's some things you can't come back from. But let's keep going. So here's the aftermath from security concerns. So the tragic sparked significant concerns regarding safety for the mental health professionals working after hours. White family has publicly questioned the building security manager's surveillance protocols and suggesting that the events could have been prevented with better access to control. Yeah, she's 100%. They're 100% correct. Better security could have prevented this. But we was talking about one state where instead of police officers, they think they should send out more mental health professionals. When you're dealing with someone who is mentally ill, especially convicted criminals who have mental illnesses, dangerous things can happen. So you have to be prepared for it. So if you're dealing with offenders, or if that's your main job is dealing with offenders and people who have a criminal past and prior felonies and violent felonies, There needs to be security and people around just in case something gets out of hand. At least that's my thoughts. But overall, this is a crazy situation. The killer ended up taking his own life because, of course, he didn't want to face the consequences. But he could have been going through a mental health crisis and ended his life because of that. We will never know if he was angry or he wanted to kill her, or if it was just some kind of mental health incident, which is crazy to say for a man who took a woman's life. But y'all tell me what y'all think is. What do you think? Was he just a horrible person? Was he going through a mental health crisis? Can people be rehabilitated? Or are some people just too far gone? It's a crazy situation, y'all. Let me know your thoughts and let me know if you disagree with anything I said. But let's pivot over into the next topic we're going to be discussing today. More craziness in the world. We got a school bus stop attack. Yes, it looks like someone was attacking a kid at a bus stop, but luckily a hero intervened. And looks like he beat the brakes off him. We got to be honest about it. He looks like he beat the brakes off him. But let's get over into it and see what we can learn from this whole situation, or see what these videos tell us. We got a few videos to look at, and of course, the AI breakdown. So let's get into it.
Volusia County man is in jail tonight, accused of attacking a middle school student at a bus stop.
Yeah, and now Christopher Schwabel, who police say is homeless, is facing aggravated child abuse charges. Watch Tony Atkins is live in DeLand tonight. And Tony, thankfully, someone stepped in to help that boy.
Yes, Elmer, police say this all happened around 8:30 this morning, and someone who knew that child saw what was happening. They turned around. Eventually, that person intervened. They stopped the suspect and held him down until police finally arrived.
My dog started howling, and there was all kinds of, ambulance sirens. And I looked out the end of the road, and there was a fire truck there. There was 3 or 4 cruisers. There was an ambulance that pulled up a few minutes later.
William Flanders says he saw a police presence near his home off Clear Lake Drive Tuesday morning, but for hours, he didn't know why.
So I didn't know maybe it was a house fire or a bad accident.
DeLand police say it was related to the arrest of 36-year-old Christopher Schwabel around 8:30 a.m. Police say Schwabel, who is homeless, was spotted choking a child near Clear Lake Drive and Spring Garden Avenue by someone who knew the boy. Police records say the witness did a U-turn to confront Schwabel, and when they did, the child ultimately got away, and Schwabel allegedly told the witness he, quote, stopped that man in his path, before eventually pulling out a folding knife from his sleeve and holding it up. Records show the man grabbed Schwabel's right hand, taking control of the knife and ultimately holding Schwabel down until police arrived.
That's just ridiculous.
Well, let's stopped that man in his path. If that don't sound like somebody who, I don't even know if we can say crazy anymore. It sound like somebody crazy to me, but let's keep going.
Ridiculous. I mean, I know the DeLand Police Department have done a fantastic job of getting rid of the homeless and live in the woods and stuff, and it's getting a little bit worse, every year.
Flanders says while hearing what happened is disturbing, he's thankful for that witness who stepped up before anyone was seriously hurt.
We do that, like I said earlier, we do that on this street all the time. You have to look out for each other. So, I mean, I'm glad. I probably would have stopped myself, because you got to help each other.
He's 100% right. You got to help your neighbors, but do it within reason. If you can't protect yourself, what are you doing jumping in? At least that's my thoughts. Make sure you can at least protect yourself if you're thinking about intervening. That's just my little side note. Let's keep going.
And Schwabel was arrested. He was charged with aggravated child abuse as well as aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. He's due in court for his first appearance before a judge tomorrow afternoon. I'm covering Volusia County live in DeLand. Tony Atkins, WESH 2 News.
Crazy situation. Let's go over to this next video.
Well, this afternoon, we have new details about an attack at a school bus stop in DeLand.
We first broke this story right here on West News at 4 o'clock. We're learning it was a 13-year-old boy who police say was put in a chokehold yesterday and threatened by a 36-year-old man in front of a neighborhood off North Spring Garden Avenue. West News' Pamela Combe is joining us live from the neighborhood. Pamela, some scary moments there for the boy.
Of course, he was only 13, and district officials do tell us that he is a student at Southwestern Middle School. He was just waiting for his bus right at this intersection when he was attacked. In response to this, the district tells us that they've upped patrols at all bus stops across the county. Now, the man police say is responsible for this attack is a 36-year-old Christopher Schwabel. Witnesses told police he attacked a kid, choking him and brandishing a knife. One witness says he saw the attack while driving by, turned his car around and intervened. Police say Schwabel then pulled out a folding knife and threatened the witness, who used a toolbox to defend himself and restrain Schwabel until police arrived. The minor
So that's that mark on his face. He smacked him with a toolbox. I don't see nothing wrong with that. Yeah, he pulled out a knife, smacked him with the toolbox.
To defend himself and restrain Schwabel until police arrived. The minor, they say, was visibly shaken. He also had a cut on his hand. Schwabel was taken to the hospital for treatment, and then he was booked into the Volusia County Jail yesterday afternoon. And that man is facing charges for aggravated child abuse. He is again currently being held at the Volusia County Branch Jail on no bond, and he will appear before a judge today at 1:30. So we'll be there and bring you the latest this afternoon on WESH. Covering Volusia County live in DeLand, Pamela Combe, WESH 2 News.
No matter how you look at it, it is a crazy situation. Absolute. What can drive? It has to be some kind of mental health problem. He's crazy, a mental health problem, or you just a downright evil person to attack a 13-year-old boy, little boy, at a bus stop in the morning. Absolutely crazy. Let's go over to the AI breakdown and see what else we can find out. So like they said, on January 20th, a 36-year-old man attacked a child at a bus stop. So they said that Christopher, described as a transient, approached a group of children waiting for the bus at the intersection. He is accused of grabbing a 7th grade student by the throat and choking him. A bystander driving by did a U-turn. Christopher ended up pulling out a folding knife before threatening the witness. The bystander used a toolbox from his vehicle to strike the suspect, successfully restraining him until law enforcement arrived. That's a hero right there. The victim's status. So the child, a student at the middle school, suffered a cut to the finger and is visibly distraught, but did not require hospitalization for serious physical injuries. That child is traumatized. We got to call it out. The child is traumatized. A grown man grabbed him and choked him. He thought he was probably gone. People are going to have to look out for him. He's going to need some kind of therapy, and his parents are going to have to be with him. So the charges. So he is facing aggravated child abuse and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Records indicate that Schwabel has been released from jail only days prior to the incident. He is currently held at the county jail on $5,000 bond. His court appearance was postponed due to behavioral issues. So he's freaking out. He's going crazy. But I did have a question. What led to his recent jail release? Of course. So he was released from the county jail on January 13th, 2026, exactly 1 week before the school bus attack, because prosecutors dropped unrelated charges against him. Specifics of his recent release. So a December 2025 arrest. Christopher was arrested and spent 23 days in jail on charges of indecent exposure and 2 counts of possession of drug paraphernalia. Reason for release: he was released on his own recognizance after the state attorney officially dropped the charges on January 13th. At the time of his release and the subsequent attack, officials described him as homeless. He wasn't in jail for anything. Well, indecent exposure is still crazy, but nothing violent. but he sounds like something who has serious issues in the head. But we got to call it how we see it. We can't be. Hopefully, he stays in jail and we get a understanding, or he says why. The whole thing where he's talking about you stopped me in my path, just it sounds like some kind of mental health or something's wrong. He got a screw loose. We got to say it how my mama used to say it. She got a screw loose. But luckily the child is okay. Luckily the hero who stepped in and saved the child is good. But overall, it's a crazy situation. You got to watch out. You got to watch out for your kids, because even your kids sitting at the bus stop in the morning cannot be safe. Unless some deranged person comes by and ends up putting a 13-year-old in a headlock. It's a crazy situation no matter how you look at it. But let me know your thoughts, y'all. And let me know if you disagree with anything I said. It's a crazy situation no matter how you look at it. We're going to pivot to the next topic, the third topic we're going to be looking at today. And that is, we got teens, Miami teens ambushed at home. Yeah, it looks like 2 teens were ambushed at home. And I don't know what the whole situation is about. It could have been a beef. But let's get over into it. We got 3 videos, because it seems 4 people were arrested. So we got 3 videos to look at. The world is becoming maybe the world's always been a dangerous place, or maybe we're just getting more access to information, but it just seems like the world is getting crazier and crazier by the minute. But let's get over into it and see what we can find out.
Off the top at 5, danger at the door. An emotional father speaking to CBS News Miami after his 14-year-old son is ambushed at home.
Somebody knocking on your door, you come, you open the door, snatch you out the house, and then they run in your house and then shoot people in your house. Mm-hmm. He was shot in the face. He was shot 2 in his leg, 2 in the thigh.
That young teen and a friend were both hurt in the shooting, and tonight police say they may be close to pressing charges. Good evening, I'm Lauren Pastrana.
And I'm Jim Barry. CBS News Miami's Peter Dench is your reporter live at the hospital where those teen victims are being treated tonight. Peter, what's the latest?
Well, Jim and Lauren, that father told us his son could have been killed. He says he is in critical but stable condition here at the hospital after being shot multiple times. He said he was staying at his mother's apartment with a 13-year-old friend who was also shot.
I'm outraged. I'm upset right quick.
Eddie Mills says he feels helpless after what happened to his 14-year-old son, Robert Mills, who was always talking about how much he liked music. Now the teen is in the hospital after being shot at this Opalaka apartment complex.
He was shot in the face. He was shot 2 in his leg, 2 in the thigh.
Trauma alerts, 1 shot in the leg and the other 1 shot in the buttock and face.
It happened early Tuesday morning at the Sailboat Cove complex at Northwest 17th Avenue and 143rd Street.
Yeah, I heard it was ambushed. That was it. Somebody just broke in the crib and shot up my son and his friends. They banged on the door, and when somebody opened the door, they snatched them out the house and then ran in.
A second teenager was also rushed to the hospital, and a third person was treated on the scene. Any idea why this might have happened?
Nah, it's just I want to say like a robbery gone bad. Like they just tried to break in the house and I guess they had some beef with whatever.
Opalaka police say they detained several people.
That's a good point. You heard what the father said. I guess they had some beefing with other kids. Kids are. This is what we call YNs. These YNs are deadly nowadays, or they always been deadly.
Tried to get away and recovered several weapons from a car that may be connected to this incident. They also took this gray Chevrolet away from the complex with crime scene tape on it. What would you like to say to people in the public if they know anything at all about this?
Man, just if you see something, say something. That's it. Just if you see something, say something, man. Y'all put the guns down, man, because people is really getting hurt around here behind these guns and senseless murders and senseless shootings.
It's because, like I've said this plenty of times, because kids are afraid of taking ass whoopings. Or butt whoopings. I'm sorry, excuse my language. Try not to cuss too much. But they scared to fight with their hands. So they pick up guns. They get overly, they can't handle their emotions correctly. Or maybe they weren't taught to handle their emotions correctly. It's just It's a crazy situation.
Eddie Mills tells us the other teenager was shot, was released from the hospital. Opelika police have not said why this happened or released any description of a shooter. If you can help, call them or Miami-Dade Crime Stoppers at 305-471-TIPS. We're live at Jackson Memorial Hospital. Peter Dench, CBS News, Miami.
It's a crazy situation. Let's go over to this next video and see if they tell us anything more.
Now at 6, a South Florida father desperate for answers after he says his teenage son was ambushed and shot several times inside an apartment complex in Opelika. Tonight, police say the boy was one of 2 teens struck by bullets. The pair flown to the hospital in critical condition. CBS News Miami's Peter Dench is your reporter at Jackson Memorial Hospital, where the teens are being treated.
Eddie Mills told me his son has already had 1 surgery and right now is in critical but stable condition. He says his son was at his mother's apartment with a 13-year-old friend who was also shot.
He was shot in the face. He was shot 2 in his leg, 2 in the thigh, 1 right here.
Eddie Mills told me his 14-year-old son, Robert Mills, was fortunate he survived after being shot at this Opelika apartment complex.
I'm outraged. I'm upset right quick.
It happened early Tuesday morning at the Sailboat Cove complex at Northwest 17th Avenue and 143rd Street.
Trauma alerts. 1 shot in the leg and the other 1 shot in the buttock and face.
Mills said his son was caught off guard.
Yeah, I heard it was ambushed. That was it. Somebody just broke in the crib and shot up my son and his friends. They banged on the door, and when somebody opened the door, they snatched him out the house and then ran in.
Police say a second teenager was also rushed to the hospital.
Okay, I believe we got the gist of this. Let's go over to this next video where they talk about the 4 kids arrested.
Thank you. We have an update today on 2 teens who were shot in a gated community in Opelika. 4 suspects are now in custody. The victims are still in the hospital. Local 10's Jackie Pascal. She is live outside Jackson Memorial Hospital. She's been covering this story from the beginning. Jackie.
Yeah, lots of updates this afternoon, Eric, especially from Opelika police. We're going to start with those 14-year-old boys who are here at the hospital right now. They had to be airlifted here in critical condition yesterday. Some good news this afternoon. We are told from police that there are signs of improvement for them, which is great news, especially considering one of them was shot reportedly 6 times, including once in the face, according to the arrest form. Also, when they were getting some new information about what led up to this shooting, investigators say those teens were smoking weed in a townhome in that gated complex in Opelika that is called Mirage at Sailboat Cove. We're told that is when the suspects, while wearing masks, knocked on the door and started shooting inside. Well, now 4 suspects have been arrested. Police saying that's all who they are looking for, and they are hoping to provide a swift resolution for those residents.
My son woke up, he said, "Ma, I hear gunshots," and it was like, dum, 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 dum.
4 suspects now behind bars for a barrage of bullets Tuesday morning in this Opelika gated community.
Hold on. They were 14? Said it was, because didn't the father say they was at the mama house? So they was smoking weed at the mama house when 4 of the teens broke into the house?
Officers say they found 2 14-year-old boys shot when they arrived at the townhome on Northwest 142nd Lane, airlifting them to Ryder Trauma Center in critical condition. Officers detained several people on scene, including the driver of this Chevy Impala, who they say was trying to speed away. Investigators reportedly found multiple firearms inside. That driver is 20-year-old Jonathan Allen Hodges, according to police, charged with accessory after the fact as well as criminal solicitation. 2 of the suspects are minors. No mugshots, but we have learned they are 16-year-old Nasir Rowan and 17-year-old Bruce Jackson. Finally, 19-year-old Santana Britton is facing several charges, including attempted first-degree murder with a deadly weapon, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, and contributing to the delinquency of a child.
There's no probable cause for any of these charges.
Although the judge questioned his involvement in bond court Wednesday morning, Britton visibly upset. He is now set for an afternoon hearing where an officer will testify to his alleged role in the shooting.
I felt scared, my son felt scared, and he lived literally downstairs in the downstairs room, and we right literally next door.
Still, neighbors say they are worried this violence will continue.
I still want to know who got shot, and I hope they are okay.
And signs of improvement this afternoon for those 2 teenage boys who are in the hospital still. Their names, of course, will not be released. We're also working to get more information on those bond court hearings. We know both of them, at least for those 2 suspects that I named there, Hodges and Britton, those have been delayed until this afternoon. So stay with us here on air and online for the latest coverage on what comes out of those. And of course, hoping for more updates here from the hospital and from police in this investigation. But that is the
absolutely crazy situation. Tell me your thoughts, y'all, but let's go over into this AI breakdown to see if we can learn anything else about this whole situation. So, as we know, on Tuesday, January 20th, 2 14-year-old boys were ambushed and shot at a home at the gated community in Opelika, Miami. So the ambush happened around 2:30 a.m. Masked gunmen reportedly knocked on the door of the townhome. When the door was opened, the suspects forced their way inside, snatched the teens out of the home, and opened fire in the front yard. So one teen was shot in the face, leg, and thigh. The other was struck in the leg and buttocks. Both were airlifted to Jackson Memorial Hospital in critical condition. So as of today, one victim has been released from the hospital while the other remains hospitalized, but showing signs of improvements. So we got the police arrested 4 individuals in connection with the shooting. 2 suspects appeared in bond court, were identified by the news reporter. And then we got the officer detained several people attempting to flee the scene and recover multiple weapons from the vehicle. So while the investigation is ongoing, a witness suggested that there may have been some kind of prior dispute or beef involved. So what were the ages of the 4 individuals? So we know that the ambush, as of January 21st, so as of today, the full names and specific ages of all 4 suspects have not been released. 2 suspects were identified by names as, I'm not even going to try to say the name. All 4 individuals were taken into custody after being detained while attempting to flee the scene. Multiple weapons were recovered from the vehicle and a light green or gray sedan associated with the arrest. So the suspects are facing several felony charges, including for the brazen attack, attempted first-degree murder, and armed home invasion / burglary based on the witness account that masked gunmen forced their way into the town hall and snatched the victims. So it looks like, I don't know if it hasn't been confirmed, but remember they gave us some ages before, saying that they were at least 16 going all the way up to 21. I wonder what was happening. It doesn't sound like a random attack to me. Sounds like they knew who they was looking for. For some reason, they were going after these 2 young boys. Sounds like, I don't know if they were something to do with because they mentioned they were smoking weed in the room. I don't know why that was important, but it is a little crazy to think about. They was within the mother's home. But it's a crazy situation. It just goes to show you the young kids are getting younger and younger while committing some of the heinous and deadly crimes. It all comes. It's a tragic situation. Hopefully we find out more details about this whole attack, why they were attacked, if they were targeted, if it was just some kind of street beef, what is happening? It makes you worried to have kids out here. But let me know your thoughts on that whole situation, y'all. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. The world is a crazy place. Look after your family. And let's review this world together. Let's review this world together. We're going to pivot over into the last topic, number 4 today. Something I wasn't expecting to pop up on my recommends was we got a wrongfully, so let's go over into it. We got a wrongfully executed, this man was wrongfully executed 70 years ago and is officially being, I guess they're saying it was a mistake and he was innocent all along. So we got 2 videos to look at and of course the AI breakdown. So let's get over into it and see what we can make of this whole situation. Let's jump into it.
One of the most significant moments in Dallas history could happen later on this week. So what's happening here? County commissioners are expected to exonerate a man who was convicted and then executed for a murder the county now says 70 years later that he did not commit. Our JD Miles tonight looking back at the case and how a broken justice system could have led to such a shameful chapter of our history.
Looking into his eyes on this film from
Now, is he the only one who's this happened to? No, it's been happening to a countless number of individuals, especially colored individuals. But it is nice to see that they are admitting to the wrongdoing.
Inside a Dallas courtroom, you can only imagine what was going through the mind of Tommy Lee Walker. His unbroken stare into the camera appears to look for reason and fairness that too often didn't exist in 1956.
The said warden is hereby directed and commanded to pass and cause to be passed through the body of you, Tommy Lee Walker, a current of electricity of sufficient intensity to cause the death of you, Tommy Lee Walker.
A judge sentenced the 21-year-old to death in the electric chair for a murder that overwhelming evidence shows he didn't commit.
It's not difficult to fathom probably what happened. They grabbed the first, quote, Negro, they saw.
Dallas County Commissioner John Wiley Price says that period in the city's history was scarred by racial injustice. It was in this part of northwest Dallas near Love Field in 1953 when a 31-year-old woman was murdered at night while walking to a bus stop. There were no witnesses, no evidence left behind, just racial hysteria and unfounded claims that it was committed by a black man.
The Klan.
They didn't even know if it was committed by a black man or not. But anything bad happens, especially back in those times, they blamed it on the black people.
Was basically rampant here.
Tommy Lee Walker lived across town from the murder scene near a park close to Baylor Hospital. He was among countless young black men rounded up for questioning, with some in the white community demanding justice, even at the cost of arresting the wrong man.
And that's kind of what happened here, I guess.
Yeah, from all the evidence that has come to light, that's exactly what happened. And I guess, the real travesty of this is that Tommy had an alibi.
9 people confirmed Walker's alibi that on the night of the murder, he was with his pregnant girlfriend, who gave birth to their son the next day.
Now, do you have anything to say why the sentence of law should not be pronounced against you?
Still, he was arrested 4 months after the crime. He says after hours of threats and promises, he was coerced into giving a false confession that he immediately tried to recant. He professed his innocence to the judge after he was convicted and sentenced to death by an all-white jury.
I feel that I have been tricked out of my life. There's a lot of other people have been convicted for crimes that committed and was turned loose. I haven't did anything, and I'm not being turned loose.
I can't even fathom, JD. It's extremely difficult for me to fathom.
5,000 people attended Walker's funeral, and it's taken 70 years for Dallas to face what in all likelihood was a terrible injustice. The story of Tommy Lee Walker is more than a history lesson. It's a dark, disturbing, cautionary tale of race and its impact on the justice system, which resulted in a young, innocent man being executed by the state of Texas.
The last thing he said before he was executed is, "I'm innocent."
On Wednesday, Price says the Dallas County Commissioner's Court will have evidence of the case presented during a special meeting and then decide whether to pass a symbolic resolution exonerating a man who paid the ultimate price for being wrongly accused of murder.
We think it's appropriate. We may be the first court in the country to do this.
What is this moment going to mean for you?
The arc of justice bends towards justice.
Price says Walker's now 72-year-old son will be there to hopefully see with his own eyes the justice his father's eyes seemed to desperately search for but could not find on that day in 1956.
This man had an alibi. 9 people were there who could testify that he was not the man who did this. But I'm assuming the majority of them were black, and it did not matter. Their word could not be trusted. It's a crazy situation. Let's go over into this next video and see if they give us any more details about this whole situation.
Now, Dallas County commissioners are considering a rare and historic resolution, one that would formally acknowledge a wrongful execution from the city's segregated past. Our Lauren Crawford is live at Commissioners Court this morning with an update for us. Lauren.
Hi, Karen. Well, Commissioners Court is still underway as we speak, but Dallas County leaders could vote to declare that Tommy Lee Walker was innocent of the crime that led to his execution nearly 70 years ago. Now, commissioners are reviewing a 1950s murder case that led to Walker's conviction and execution. And there were no eyewitnesses and no physical evidence tying him to the crime, yet he was convicted with a white jury. Multiple witnesses testified that he had an alibi, including that he was with his pregnant girlfriend as she went into labor that night. Inside the courtroom today, commissioners heard Walker's own words in a historical recording played during the meeting, spoken at his sentencing.
I feel that I have been tricked out of my life. There's a lot of other people that have been convicted for crimes that committed and will turn loose. I haven't did anything.
And there you just heard Walker maintaining his innocence even after he was sentenced to death. And today's vote marks a very historic and symbolic moment here in Dallas. And inside of the courtroom, Walker's son is there. Tommy Lee Walker died when his son was just 2 years old. And as I was walking out to come down here just a few minutes ago, he started to give emotional response and about what this day means to him. So we're going to have more coverage continuing in our evening newscast. Live in Dallas, Lauren Crawford, CBS News, Texas.
I'm happy that he's finally getting heard. But we got to remember that there's probably countless others who went through the same thing. A history of very dark things the U.S. has. Let's get over into this AI breakdown to see if they give us any more details about it. So on January 21st, Tommy Lee Walker was officially declared innocent by the Dallas County Commission's Court, exactly 70 years after his execution. Electric execution. Walker was executed in an electric chair at 21 years old for a 1953 murder of Vince Parker in Dallas. His post-exoneration follows years of prolonged reinvestigations by the Innocence Project, the Dallas County Convictions and Integrity Unit, and Northeastern University Civil Rights and Restorative Justice Project. So the key details of this case are the false confessions. Walker was coerced into a confession after hours of threats. He immediately recanted it before his trial, but it was used for his conviction. Remember that's one of the reasons why you can't be threatened, and because it takes your confession out of whack. 9 witnesses testified that Walker was with his pregnant girlfriend that night. She gave birth to their son the following day. So the investigators concluded the case was compromised by racial bias, coerced interrogation tactics, and unreliable evidence presented to an all-white jury. Walker maintained his innocence until the very end, stating at his sentencing, "I feel that I've been tricked out of my life." The case mirrors that of George Stenley Jr., a 14-year-old who was exonerated 70 years after his execution in South Carolina in 2014. There's several cases that follow the same narrative. It's a crazy situation. So the reinvestigation of Tommy Lee was sparked by a 2013 journalist inquiry and cumulative in a joint, I can't even get my words out. It happened in a joint effort by legal advocacy groups and Dallas court officials. So in a 2013 journalist, Mary Mates began investigating the circumstances of Walker's prosecution for D Magazine. Her work initially sought to find a case where DNA could prove innocence of an executed person, eventually focusing on Walker's 1954 conviction. So his son, Edward Smith, who was born the day after the 1953 murder, contacted the Innocent Project to seek justice for his father. So in 2022, the Innocence Project began collaborating with the Civil Rights Restorative Justice Project. Dozens of law students and staff conducted years of historical research to uncover evidence of constitutional violations. And then the Dallas County Attorney Convictions Integrity Unit joined the efforts, performing a comprehensive review of the case under the current District Attorney John. So I'm not even going to try to say that name. But all this led to the finally exonerated on today. After 70 years after his execution. It's a crazy situation, y'all. But I always do it backwards. But I've said it before. There are plenty of cases out there, and all these cases need to be taken seriously. Because the history of the United States, even though it is the past, is a past filled with skeletons in the closet. And the only way to move forward and to have everyone come together is to expose all the skeletons for us to begin anew. At least that's my thinking. But let me know your thoughts on this whole situation, y'all. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. It's a crazy situation no matter how you look at it. But I am happy that he is finally proven innocent. I'm just sad it took 70 years after his execution. It's a crazy situation, y'all. It's a crazy situation. But that is the end of the show today, y'all. We talked about a lot of heavy things. I got tongue-tied a few times saying some of these big words, but we're going to get through it. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the show today. And thank you for watching. Thank you for watching now. Thank you for watching later. It's a crazy world we live in, and we got to review the world together. We have to review the world together. Hopefully everybody has a good day today. Remember, these videos will be broken down so you can go back and watch the one you want. Remember to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you can be up to date on all the videos. That's it for now, y'all. But I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.